What is up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about my 6-year Kratom addiction, which is a long ass time. I will admit it wasn't a full 6 years because I did have my breaks in between. And if you don't know what Kratom is, it is basically this sort of family of the coffee plant, which makes it so easy to take, that works on your opiate receptors. So it's not an opiate, but it works the same way as an opiate, depending on how much you take, really. Because in a low dose, it's going to make you feel stimulated, and in a high dose, it's going to make you feel sedated. So that's kind of why it's so great, and I still think it is great. Currently 3 weeks without it. By the way, one of my boats in the background here, pretty chill, might catch a vibe on that thing later. But today, I'm getting my 10K steps, and I just wanted to talk about my Kratom addiction for the last 6 years and why it happened. So, I'm going to freestyle this, and I'll turn it into chapters, which you can see in the bottom of the YouTube video, so you can see what the video is partitioned in. But basically, to start off, is why it happened. And this was because I had gotten my Coinbase hacked. And this is a long while ago. I made a video about this, about how I got like $30,000 stolen from me. It was a huge shock going through my whole body. And basically, I didn't really know how to deal with this. And there was a level of stress that, I don't know, I just couldn't really deal with the proper way. So what I did was, I took the invite. My friends were going to Dubai for like 2 weeks, and I had like 15K left. I blew all that money. Had an amazing time in Dubai. And one of my friends told me about Kratom, and I was always into trying new things. So when I got back home in the Netherlands, I tried it out, and it was amazing. It made me feel relaxed. It made me feel focused. It was like the missing piece to the puzzle at the time. And it also was something you take, and it'd be so easy to socialize on, which is why it makes it so great. Because if you feel a little down, you take Kratom. If you feel great, you can also take it. You feel even better. Before you go out and you want to socialize, you take some Kratom. If you got a hangover, you take some Kratom. You can take it whenever, because it'll just boost your mood. It works on your serotonin receptors and on your dopamine receptors, I think, at the same time, which is why obviously it is pretty good, or it feels pretty good. Obviously, I don't think it's actually good, but it was my drug of choice for the last 6 years, so it is what it is. Anyway, that's when I found my peace with it. And it wasn't something like alcohol, because I wouldn't like keep drinking or binge drink or something. That's something I'd never really done. So that was my choice for the last 6 years. And eventually it got to the point where the right side of my body would start getting numb, which is already one of the warning signs. And this is when I freshly started. I started taking like 15 grams a day, like 5 grams 3 times a day, just playing video games at home. And it would be amazing. However, I would sleep really badly. I would wake up half numb. It was weird, and I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was the stress from getting my shit hacked and losing all the money, which definitely gave me like PTSD for a good while. But it was definitely the Kratom looking back on it. So I had my time on and off with it. But over the last 6 years, I've definitely been on it for about 5 years. And it's taken over my life to the point where it made me really complacent. And I think that's the scariest thing about this drug, because it'll just make everything feel like it's all right. On top of that, I had set up multiple sources of income that didn't really require me to put in much work to make money. So while I was taking Kratom and being complacent, there was no real drive for me to actually progress in life and make moves to, get ahead and make more money or be more successful. Even though that is subjective, it is a pretty good measurement to find out if you're making any progression in life. Because if you're not going forward, you're going backwards or whatever. So if you're standing still, you're going backwards. That's what I'm trying to say. So it gets to the point where when I do quit, it's not for a very long time, and it's pretty tough to do so. And I fall back into the habit pretty easily because at the end of the day, the reason why I would take it is so I wouldn't have to feel. And I think the moment I made that change to accept to, be okay with feeling is because I think that's where all the power in life really lies. Because back when I was really wanting to be a YouTuber, I really felt it within me, like I gotta be a YouTuber. It wasn't a question, I just had to be one. So not being able to feel because you're numbing out that emotion through whatever drug or thing you're taking it wasn't the way for me. And I really wanted to feel again. And that comes with the positive and the negative. Also, I'm just walking on the strand here and my arm is kind of hurting and people are looking at me weird. But I'm not too bothered by it because I'm a Chad, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, the feeling thing. 3 weeks now since I've quit. I've had a couple breaks, I think I had 2 or 3 breaks where I didn't take Kratom for a couple months at a time. And it took quite a long time to actually get back to baseline. And it is tough. Even though I never really took more than 10 to 15 grams a day. I'm not too sure how dose dependent withdrawals are. But for me, doing things, actually getting my brain to do things, or wanting to work towards something and reset my dopamine, bro, it's so tough. Especially when I'm not on Kratom, because I'd take Kratom before doing a task I didn't really want to do, and it'd be the most interesting thing ever. However, when your dopamine is running rampage basically and it's being overloaded, everything is interesting, and I get distracted really easily. So that was also definitely a downside, that when I was on Kratom, I thought I was being productive, but I was just flooding my dopamine system, and I was really not doing much at all. So right now, going through the phase where I guess I'm just rebuilding my dopamine and all my neurotransmitters, and it's pretty tough because sometimes I really don't want to do things. I know I should be doing things, and I'm still doing the things I should be doing, like going to the gym, eating clean, going for these walks, getting 10K steps in. But tougher tasks where I have to sit down and focus, they are definitely hard to do. So, alright, I don't know how loud this is gonna be, but we walk through it. This is gonna be a pretty raw video anyway, because I think those matter. Maybe to look back on, maybe for you guys to relate to or whatever. But anyway, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought. Oh, the focus. Funnily enough, I'm not really able to focus, but the last couple of days I have been seeing some positive improvements where I'm like, oh shit, things are clearing up again. And the great thing about me having quit before for a longer time and knowing what the rebound is going to feel like in terms of my focus returning is great. So whatever you're battling and whatever you're going through, just know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're in the fucking dark, do not go back, because the last week or 2 weeks really, I did have cravings, and even if it was just me looking up things about Kratom or whatever it may be, just having the thought on my mind is just, I guess, one of the withdrawal signs, on top of the fact I couldn't focus and everything felt boring. My recovery and sleep is wrecked, etc. On top of all of this, I also quit nicotine at the same time because I was taking hella Zins. But nicotine was never really something I struggled much with to quit. Yeah, so double dopamine fucking floored in terms of substances I quit, and neither of which are extreme, but I never really think it's about the extreme things, because some of my friends were addicted to serious drugs, and they must have gone through some fuck shit withdrawals that I could never imagine. But this is my life, and this is what I'm dealing with, and I'm sharing it. I just know that there is a version of me out there that is dead ass mogging the fuck out of me, just being a way better person and a way better version of me. So I can't let that happen. That's why I'm going on a walk by this by all these boats over here. I don't know what's called, a haven. I'm not sure, but bro, there's a version of me out here in this multiverse that literally owns half of these boats. That's fucking me up. That's fucking me up because that's already me. Anyway, to come full circle here, I've come to the realization that whatever stress you're going through or whatever thing you're dealing with, to opt for temporary crutches, yeah, it might feel great. You might alleviate like the pain you're going through, but it is ultimately in the pain that you're feeling in that moment. You gotta find your lesson in there, because you can turn every loss into a win. And if you're coping with it by silencing the pain, aka the message, then that's great for the short term, but it's gonna hurt you in the long term. And yeah, the last 6 years of my life flew by. Like, I really haven't achieved much that I'm like genuinely proud of, except for the fact that I've done a lot of studying, and now it's time for me to actually put all that studying to use. So that's going to be the next chapter of my life. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video about my kratom addiction. It was probably all over the place, but I wanted it to be a one take instead of a perfectly crafted video, because I just had to get it out. I've been thinking about making this video. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what to do. So this is what it's going to be. And if you guys liked it, let me know in the comments down below, because there are like hundreds of things I can talk about. Or drop a comment. Maybe you want to talk about something, hear my opinion on it. That'd be cool too. I have a Discord community. I will probably start a school soon and open it up for free. Probably make it paid later. So if there's a school, it'll be in the description of this video. If not, there's a Discord that we're all in. We discuss improvement, health, supplements, peptides, all this kind of stuff. So if you're into that, join it. I want to surround myself with people who are, my tribe. I'm going to end the video now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, that's not a good shot. There we go. Peace.